Hello, and welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you so much. What such a kind and inviting greeting. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad you do. It's just for you, just for
I
you.
know. Yep.
Hmm.
Nobody else will listen to this conversation.
It's true. 100. It's entirely possible. Yeah.
It is.
Hmm.
That's what makes it so exciting. The
Right.
thought that nobody will ever hear this conversation but us. And maybe
Uh.
your roomie.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's here today.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Hope he's doing well. If he has anything to chime in on the podcast, he can feel welcome to, I
I
believe.
I mean, he's not listening.
Oh, he's just physically present. Gotcha.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
He
All right.
doesn't watch this show. Are you kidding?
No, I mean,
He's
I figured he was
playing The Sims at the moment. He's got better things to do.
The Sims. I didn't think it'd be a Sims person.
It's not The Sims. It looks like Age of Empires 2 cross The Sims. But he,
Now I
he
need to know what it is. Ask him what it is.
he's beating someone to death with a baseball bat. I don't think it's The Sims. Oh, it's something zombies.
Yes, the something zombies
Uh,
game.
Project Zomboid or something.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one. Cool, cool.
I have not.
Yeah, no, good for him. Wonderful. All right. What do we want to lead off with today? It
GSL.
is okay. We can do GSL. It's also April Fool's Day in America,
It's
which
not here, so let's not go there.
that's entirely fair. Great.
I-
GSL.
If there's anything April Foolsy that you wanted to discuss, let's do it.
There was a really fantastic video some dude put together of his review of the NVIDIA 4090 series
Mm-hmm.
that I retweeted that I thought was amazing. Like the amount of effort he put into that thing was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's it's got like 8 fans on it. Anyway, it's
Right.
fantastic. If we had show notes, I would put it in the show note, or maybe Somicron would. But
I mean,
the NVIDIA GeForce official account retweeted it. I believe his name is Captain's Workspace.
okay.
So if you want to find it, maybe you can look for it there. Captain Workspace on YouTube.
There we go. That's that.
There you go.
You can find it there, people.
That's the April Fool's news.
That
We did
is
it.
the April Fool's news.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Oh, no, I don't have any April Fool's news. I saw a
That's
couple
fine.
things, and none of them were like, aha, I got you. Because I was like, that's an April Fool's thing. Same with the 4080 graphics card video. I was like, there's no way that's real. Okay. So I was just like,
Oh, right. No,
no,
obviously.
no bother
So you
clicking
think it
on
only
that.
counts if you get got?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That's hard
Otherwise,
to do, man.
what's the point?
People are skeptics. People are skeptics today. I just thought it was funny. Like he does the whole thing where he plugs in the 4090 and like it starts smoking. I don't know. He just put a lot of effort into it. I thought I appreciated it. I thought it was the funny stuff that he did. It's not that I was tricked by any stretch. I just thought it was really well done. That's all. So you're right. As far as stuff that like tricked me, I don't think we got anything. So nothing
Right.
counts, unfortunately.
Right. Like, I mean, Linus Tech Tips started an OnlyFans account.
I saw that thumbnail. I was disturbed.
Uh-huh. I don't know if
Uh-huh.
it technically counts as a trick, though, because the link's real. Like, it's a real account. You can go and pay money to see his OnlyFans. It's technically real.
The thumbnail implies there's going to be pornographic material, and I don't think there will be is the problem.
So, that's, like, something that is implied is not, it's still an OnlyFans account.
Okay, no, that's true. I mean, technically, an OnlyFans account is an OnlyFans account.
No matter what you put on there, it's an OnlyFans account.
Correct.
And depending on your perspective, it is pornographic, right? Like he's gonna show you like graphics cards from the inside out, right? Like that's
So to
without their
somebody,
clothes on, like that's porn.
so what you're saying is that somebody's fetish.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Like-
man.
He's gonna show what it's like to put thermal paste on a CPU. That's pretty hot.
See that video of somebody dumping thermal paste out of like an ice cream soft serve machine?
No.
I saw that a couple times the other day. He just puts a motherboard under a soft serve ice cream machine and then pulls the handle, and thermal paste just goes.
Terrible. Don't do that. Don't do
I
that.
know. Don't do that. I mean, maybe for the internet fame you can, but
Hmm.
anywho, GSL happened. Looks like we have our groups ready to rock.
We certainly do.
Cool stuff.
Mm.
So you want to go over them then? Actually, is there anybody who didn't make it out of the earlier rounds that we're worried about? Yeah.
Stats. Stats did not make it to
Ooh.
Code S.
Didn't he just won?
Did he just win something?
He just won something. Yeah, didn't Stats just win? Oh, my brain is nothing anymore. Stay at Home Story Cup. He just won Stay at Home Story Cup against like elite. Everybody was there. I know Stay at Home Story Cup is weird, but for him to go from winning it, beating Cyril in a series to win it, no less, to not even qualify for the JSL groups is weird. Good call.
Getting knocked out by Bunny.
Oh, knocked out by Bunny. What has Bunny done? Well, qualified for GSL is what he's done. Fair.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Oh, no stats. Let's see. Dongray Guzin.
Either. When was Stay at Home Story Cup? Because I'm looking at stats' results on Wikipedia, and
yeah, no, Stay at Home Story
is not on there.
Okay. He beat Cyril on March 14th. He 3-0'd him in the grand finals of Stay at Home Story Cup number 3.
Stay at Home Story Cup 3.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a look at its results, because I'm sure it lists stats. Yeah, list stats is the winner. I guess Stay at Home Story Cup is a small enough tournament that it does not count as a notable result.
Wow. That's I mean,
first place is $1,200, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Stats made that much not making Code S for GSL.
True. All right. Well, Stats isn't here. That's fine. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So we have Group A, B, C, and D as per usual. I'll go through Group A here. It's TY, it's Bunny, Hurricane, and Dongray Gu.
Nice. Actually, yeah. Stats made $2,000 getting eliminated in Code A, not making it to Code S. He made more money failing in this tournament than he did winning Stay at Home Story Cup.
Gross. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Group B, Maru Solar Cure Dream.
Yeah. So hang on real quick. Group A.
Okay. I thought you just wanted to list them.
I mean, I want to talk about who I think is going to go through just real quick.
TY, Dongray Gu. Done.
I mean, TY, yeah, for sure. Dongray Gu, I'd love to believe. I'd love to believe in Dongray Gu making it through. But, like, I feel like he's been on a bit of a coldish streak over the last, I don't know, 6 months or so.
Sure.
Okay. But you believe in him.
I believe, only because Hurricane is a name I can't remember, and bless you. And Bunny's most notable result is beating Sats to get here. So
fair enough. All right, cool. I'm with you then. Let's go Group B.
All right. Group B, Maru, Solar, Cure, Dream. Maru and Dream or Cure. Interesting. Or do you disagree with Maru as a choice?
No, I think in this group, I think like bad Maru can show up and he still makes it out. I'm fairly sure. Although TVT again is just janky. It's a lot of TVTs he has to play.
2 TVTs.
Sure, but just matches, right?
Oh, right.
A lot of TVT matches he has to play.
These are all best of 3s, best of 5s?
It doesn't say. Probably best of 3s would be my guess.
All matches
That's
are
what they
best of
usually
3.
do. Yeah. So what is it? It's
at most 4.
Right.
Well, I know at most 6, right? Because it could go 3 games. Right.
Yeah.
At most has to win 4.
It could be more though, right? Depending on how like tiebreakers and stuff fall.
Yeah. So if he loses the first one, that's 3, at least 3, minimum 2, and then at least 2 more. So that's 6, minimum of 9. Anywhere between 4 and 9 is the minimum.
Yes, I'm just saying it's a decent number, and weird stuff happens in TVTs. That's all I'm saying. All right. So, but whatever. Solar won the Africa World, the last one that we did.
Okay, that's. I'm sure that shows up on his results.
Maybe I don't know.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It's a very small tournament.
Right. So let's see. That's right. He beat Special, and then he beat Zest 4-2 in the final. His ZVP looked amazing, which does not help him in this group.
No.
Not even a little bit. And he did kind of struggle against Special, and it's like, ugh. Is Cure playing better than Special right now? Is right? So that's my question. Probably. So yeah, I'd love to believe in Solar. Again, he's the kind of guy to make it into your quarterfinals and then never really make it much further than that in these premier events. So I'm going to go Cure here. I think Maru and Cure make it out. Year of the Terran continues.
1 HP and a Dream. So I'm going to go Dream.
All right.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Don't know that phrase for nothing.
Yeah, no kidding. Group C, Rogue, Jaune, Innovation, and Dark.
Is Rogue looking better than... Well, yeah, Inno's the given, I think. It's the toss-up between Rogue and Dark.
Yeah, I feel like the Korean Zergs are elite, but inconsistent? I don't know. I've seen stats like absolutely just crush Rogue. But again, Jaune's not stats, so how's his ZVT? And Terrans have been looking fairly good in, I don't know, Innovation kind of been up and down as well here, right? I mean, if we look at his finishes...
Dark is currently ranked 8th in the world on a Ligalac.
Right.
Solar is 10th.
They're a lot closer than I thought they were. That's crazy.
Rogue is 16th. So, I don't know what's going on with Rogue. Maybe he's in some kind of a funk. But
sure. I think that happens sometimes. Anywho. Yeah. I don't know if I believe in any of these guys a lot in Group C. There's just no one that stands out as like, yeah, they're guaranteed to get through. 100%. No problems. I wouldn't be shocked if any of these guys got left behind.
I would be shocked if Inno didn't make it through.
Okay.
I would.
That's fair.
Yeah. Group D, Trap, Amani, SOS, Zest. So, I mean...
This is where all the Protosses are, geez. Okay, it's like 1 Protoss in CNA, no Protoss in Group B, and then 3 in Group D. Good distribution here.
Well, I mean, the way the game... like, you know how these groups are made, right?
Obviously not by a race distribution.
No, they have like a picking game that they play. Like, whoever makes it,
it's like
whoever
dodgeball?
No. Well, I mean, they don't throw balls at each other, but like, I think
picking
this team, you pick teams, yeah, and like the team captains or something, like whoever's got first seed can decide, like whoever was the first person in Group A, I think it is, gets to swap 2 players from any group or something. It's got some weird rules, but it's like an hour-long video that they split off and put up on YouTube as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. So they're not going for a race distribution in each group. It's just whatever it is. Yeah.
No.
All right. So Zest and Trap are like 2 of the top 3 Protoss in the world right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I like Armani, but I feel like I've said that Armani is a young Zerg player coming up for a while now, and this could be it. Like, this could be his moment if he can figure out the PVZ thing, which a lot of Zergs are struggling with.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I would still say safe money's on Trap and Zest.
Yeah, that's fair.
Probably.
They're both the highest ranked in the group, so. Cool. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kicks off in 3 days because it's GSL.
Right. Yeah.
And it will end like
in 2 weeks.
2 weeks from now, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll start the playoffs, and that'll be another 4 weeks. So that's GSL for you.
May 6th is the end.
Yeah.
So that's a month. A month.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
A month from today.
Yep.
Or basically. Excellent.
Basically.
Good job, GSL. Way to go. Keep it rolling. Okay. Boy. So we have some Wonder Egg news.
We do. That's a video that came out.
Yeah. Wait, what? A video? Like an episode?
Well, like, yeah, it's an episode. It's episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's watch a video of Wonder Egg. That doesn't make any sense. It makes it sound like we're on YouTube watching like fan-made theory videos.
Are we not? Oh, is that not what we're making right now?
No. Sort of.
So what you're saying is
So-
if it's not a theory, you've got it all conclusively proven out. Like it's a
It's
hypothesis at this point.
Well, it's a reaction video that we're doing.
Okay.
We're not necessarily crafting a lot of theories here. We're making a couple of guesses, but anyway. Yeah. So number one, this is the last Wonder Egg for a while. So from what we can understand, Alchemy has helped with this in the Discord, but it seems like they kind of got in over their heads. The anime studio this season. That's what the clip show episode was about. It gave them some breathing room to actually get caught up on what they needed to do for the episodes. Like to the point that the last episode that came out, episode 12, was delayed a couple hours. I mean, that's how close to the wire we're getting here. They're like, we need all the time we can possibly get. Give us 2 more hours and then we'll be ready to go, which is crazy to me. I can't imagine working under that kind of pressure.
I would not like to.
No.
I'll tell you that. That sounds truly awful. Yeah, so it was down to the wire, hot off the presses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then at first it said that the TV station that they're contracted with or the studio, whatever, only ordered 12 episodes. So they were like, well, you're going to finish your story. Too bad. Like, you didn't do it in 12 episodes, so goodbye. And then everyone was like, no. And then I think it was the next day the news came out that, like, fine, we'll give you a 13th episode. We'll air it sometime.
Right.
So,
eventually, in June, I think.
right. Like, whatever. Who knows? We're just going to be waiting for the final episode of this season in months from now. So,
I mean, it has a release date scheduled. I know that.
Right. I wouldn't be shocked if it got moved a little bit, but
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, if they have months to do a single episode and they've been basically writing episodes on the week, then maybe they can pull this off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna like make it like a slightly longer episode, if it's still just like a 24-minute episode, because it feels like if you're gonna do a single one-off extra episode, make it a little longer. You know, why not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Make it like a 2-hour thing for sure. That'd be cool.
2 hours is like a movie, though. I don't think they'll do that.
I mean, fair. Yes.
It'd be nice, but I don't think they'll do it.
They have the time, is all I'm saying. Yeah. All right. So this episode, I watched it today, so I haven't had a ton of time to like wrap my head around it, but
Okay.
there was a lot of stuff about Ai's backstory, and I don't feel like I know what happened even still to this point. Because they introduced the concept of parallel universes and multiverse stuff, where every decision that Ai makes in her life creates a new Ai that branches off into a new universe, and she makes a new decision, and it's infinite branching universes, and it's like, okay, this is a really heavy thing to introduce into the show in episode 12.
Right.
But all right.
I mean, they introduced it earlier. Parallel worlds is a known thing.
Yes, but the parallel worlds concept was simpler. It's like there's a place people go, there's like dead spirits there. There's stuff going on. There are infinite number of parallel universes created every time you make a new decision.
Well, okay, explaining how the parallel worlds are made is one thing, but there wasn't a limit on how many other worlds there were. The chick in the coma was like, I travel the multiverse, right? Like, she wasn't like, I go to this other realm. She's like, I'm exploring dozens of new realities.
Okay, that's fair. So it was... Okay, but even that, dozens pales in comparison to there's a new universe every time you decide to have milk for breakfast instead of orange juice, right?
Yeah, but...
That's all. That's all I'm saying. It's a lot.
The difference in between those two realities would be so minute that they're almost indistinguishable and negligible in consideration.
Maybe. But over time, though?
Well, no, because, like, the idea that you had a different drink it will so rarely affect any major outcomes within your day-to-day, right?
But I'm saying it's you had this to drink, you put on these shoes,
okay.
You took this route to school, you talked to this person, you answered this on this test. It's so many decisions every day.
They didn't say every decision. They just said when you make a decision. That doesn't mean a tiny decision like what kind of cereal I had. They're talking about I deciding not to kill herself. Right? That's a major decision. So it could just be fundamentally groundbreaking, like life-altering decisions.
Okay, it could be. I don't
Yeah.
think they were that explicit about it,
Right.
but
I don't think they were either, but I don't
you're
think it's
right.
worth getting hung up over the idea that there are infinite realities out there. Like I don't
Okay.
think that's an issue. Right.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get into it. It seems like again, even where we are in the story, it's like have the other three girls had their final encounters,
Two of
or
them,
is it?
yes.
It's still just Momo and Ritza,
Rika.
Rika. Thank you. Got
Yeah.
there same time.
Yeah. So we're just waiting on Neru.
Yeah. So finally, the girls get all together, and I is like, "Why don't you tell us what happened?" And Momo's all mad because I mean, she emotionally feels like she got dragged into this against her will because I said hello to her, which I get it. Like, I get where she's coming from. It's not logical, but okay, it's fine. She's super
Right.
traumatized right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's mad. And Rika's just obsessed with revenge. She just wants to get back at the people that killed her Pokemon, which feel like we could have had a little more time with the Pokemon to make us feel bad for them, but it's fine. Like it was enough, I think.
I think if you're gonna allow crazy space magic to say the Pokemon is attached because you're imprinted as its mother, and therefore, like that imprint works both ways, and you can just say they're attached, and we don't like they're off camera. I think it's fine. Like it works.
Okay.
We don't see every second of their life, but we know that they hang out while they're alone in their rooms and stuff. Like we know that that's happening.
We do. We get a lot more time with them hanging out than we do with their Pokemon, I think. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, bottom line, so I is the only one that's gone into this having an understanding of what's going to happen. So far. I mean, Niru has an idea at this point as well, but we only see her in the beginning of the episode. So then basically Rika's all vengeance obsessed and Momo's all mad, so they bail and Nero's like, can we leave together? So like it feels like the group is somewhat a thing.
Right.
Right, which was nice. Anyway, so then I is doing her dream fighting. She doesn't want to summon her Pokemon because she knows what's going to happen to him if she does.
Yep.
And it really feels like our two mannequins are doing stuff on the fly. Like, never done this before, right?
Probably not.
Because they're like, hey, you can't beat these without your Pokemon. And she's like, no, I know what's going to happen. You can't tell me what to do. And then one of them's just like, well, technically they're ours. Like, they imprinted on you, but we made them, so we can summon them too. Pacha, over walkie-talkie radio communication.
Right.
Right. So they summon it. Leon saves them, saves yada, yada, yada. And then she breaks the egg that she's been not wanting to break because she's afraid of what's going to happen, obviously.
Right.
And comes our big brain explosion moment. It's an alternate I that killed herself because she grew up being bullied for heterochromia, which, again, of all the stuff to viciously bully and ostracize somebody about, having two separate eye colors is such a petty thing on the list of things you could go after. I can't get past it. Anyway, it happened. It's in the story. It's a thing.
Right. It's a thing.
Yep. Yeah, so it's I who killed herself because she never met Koito. Which... Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an alternate universe where Koito never comes to Ai's school?
Or at least she never decides to reach out and become Ai's friend.
The other I didn't even know the name, though. She's like, who's Koito? So I don't think...
Well, yeah, but
it'd be somebody she knows but wasn't friends with. I just don't think she showed up at all.
I don't think she's shown to be in, like, the same class, right? Like, I don't think it's particularly relevant. She could be at a different school. She could be at the same school. I don't know.
She's just not... she's just not Ai's friend. That's all. Yeah.
She might have put on a different kind of socks and accidentally broke her shoe that day and was slightly late to the pool where she drowned and didn't find her until she died. Like, some tiny little reason why this parallel universe, Koito-chan never meets Ai.
Well, so hang on. Is there a universe where our Ai tries to kill herself in the pool and Koito saves her? Is that something that happened?
I think so.
There's so much stuff that they showed us that I'm like, did this really happen? Or is
Yeah.
this just like the dreamscape of this show doing crazy stuff?
I have no idea.
I don't either. That's what bugs me so much about this episode is so much of it is presented in a way that's not chronological inside the dream world where we don't know if stuff really counts or not. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. We see Ai screwing up the courage to talk to her mom and tell her she supports her mother's pursuit of happiness. Did that ever happen?
I assume that did happen. Yes.
Okay. There's so much.
Yeah.
Anywho, I mean, we can get into the Mr. Sawaki thing, but I'm not even sure if there's a bottom line here. I was like, I'm just gonna go through what happens, and I'm like, what?
What happens? What happens? What doesn't happen? Like, we can tell you what the screen visually showed us, but that doesn't mean we know it happened.
Yes, exact. That's the big time problem I have with this episode for sure. And again, the rest of the show has kind of been like this, so it's not out of nowhere. But they're so leaning heavy into it here that it's not.
Right.
It's not computing for me.
Yeah. So let's talk about Sawaki.
Let's do.
Yeah. So my question is, does this mean that all of the other traumas that we've seen about the other girls has... Okay, it either means like one or two things. Either one, he is like a real piece of shit who does have like a public-facing front that he puts on about being a nice guy. Or two, does it mean that a lot of the other evils that the girls had defeated are an exaggerated menace? Like, there was some perceived tormentor? Yeah. But they've exaggerated it in their own minds. And, like, because up until here, I've been like, yeah, kill the evil dude, right? Like, because he's evil. He got this, like, this poor girl drove herself to suicide. And now I'm like, oh, are we supposed to be rooting for them to, like, defeat their tormentor? If their tormentor's just, like, a thing in their mind? He's not actually that bad? And this poor girl's just blown it out of proportion herself? That's just sad. It's less fun.
It is sad, but the genius of the show is they did such a good job taking Sawaki and putting him right up to the line where you can say he's a child predator, but not crossing it.
Yeah.
And then they do this, and you're like,
like,
what's real? Like, does it matter? Does it matter what kind of person he is? You know what I mean? And then we have a scene where he's telling, I think, Ai and Koito to kill themselves and be young forever, which was a message that Nero got in one of the fights a few episodes ago. Did he ever do that in the real world? Or is this just dreamscape Sawaki that Ai built up in her mind to be evil, tormenting them this way?
Right.
I don't like it.
Right, like, and we still have no idea what he said at the art gallery when she asked him, like, why did Koita-chan die? Right.
That would help. That would help a lot.
Like, if we knew that he, like, they just showed us some kind of clue that he bullshitted his way through that, like, dialogue, or if he was just honest and it felt genuine, that, like, something happened and she, like, it wasn't his fault, right? Like, something to walk us back from the line, you know?
Because we don't even know. Like, if we had known that Koito had killed herself because of Mr. Sawaki, and we knew that, there could be theories to break off of that, but we don't even know that. We do not know that. Koito could have killed herself because her parents are abusive. We don't know. So, yeah, there's a million questions. I mean, it was a great moment when, like, the Sawaki monster shows up. The creativity on these monsters has been pretty good too. I like
the
what they're
use
doing.
of his, like, artistic talents as a
As a
body.
monstrous.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
Great character designs overall.
So here's what they do. They take the viewer and go, hey, look, he was the monster all along. And then Ai says, nope. This is what I imagine Sawaki to be based on my own securities and fears.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what? Is that how this has always worked? Which you said earlier. Is this every monster has just been like the gymnastics coach was a wonderful person, but the little girl imagined her to be a monster because she was afraid of her, right? Like, honestly, it's incredibly unsatisfying if that's what's happening.
Right. Like, I think
Yes.
you can safely say that the other ones are probably abusive, but everything in the mind of a child is going to feel way worse than it is. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, you could just say the gymnastics coach was just pushing her to do, like, practice before school earlier in the mornings, right? Like, it's
Sure,
like,
and then she becomes a monster, right? Yeah.
right. And, like, a kid who can't rationalize that extra effort will mean better results might see that constant push and pressure, and along with all the other pressures Japanese society probably has in places on students who are, academically demanding in their schools and all these other things that they've got going on. I can easily see that all
Me
turning
too.
together.
Except for the one where the victim got raped and had an abortion. Like, even if it was consensual sex with a minor, it's still rape. So,
Right.
like, there's really no getting around that one, I don't think.
Which is why I think the correct answer is probably it's a skew, like it's a spectrum of possible outcomes and answers for each of
Yeah.
them.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're shown Ai drilling up the courage to tell her mom that she wants her to be happy.
Okay, so
Which,
now that I think about
which
it,
supports the theory that Mr. Sawaki's a fine guy.
right, because whatever it is he told her, I think that scene takes place after the art gallery.
Ooh, okay. Yeah,
Right.
I think you're right. They gave us no hints that that's the case.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think if he, I think she would be able to tell that he was a piece of shit if he was lying, right? I think,
I mean,
I don't know, I have faith in I.
especially with her newfound confidence, right?
Yeah.
She has a better ability to read people than she did. I mean, there's another vision that happens in the dreamscape where Mr. Sawaki's like, both of you girls said that you're in love with me, right? Which is like, ooh, I can kind of see that happening. Especially because I have that theory that Mr. Sawaki wanted to paint Ai, but then I was too nervous and too embarrassed about it, so Koito took over, and I had negative feelings about that.
Yeah, okay, so I think like the way that plays out is I says, look, teacher, sensei, daisuki, I love you, right? Little Japanese boy, right? Fun fact about the word daisuki, it can also just mean like or love. It's super contextual, and
Right.
there's no way to know 100%. Either way, he goes, look, I'm a teacher, that's inappropriate, so she feels rejected, and then at that point, she's scared to be his, like, model for his paintings, where Koita-chan steps up, and now she feels like she's been replaced. Like, he's accepted her over him.
I love this theory, except that who's the picture of at the last episode? It's Ai.
Right.
It's
like
not Koito.
Right. But she didn't know that at the time, right? Koito finds the painting, sees it's still Ai and not her, and she feels like she's been used. Takes a swan dive off the roof of the balcony.
Ooh, that's pretty
Reaches
good.
The school.
And then the teacher's like, well, everything's fine here. I'll put this in my art gallery and start my career with a horribly cursed painting. Yeah, that bothers me.
Right. I mean, technically, all the events which he did was paint a student, which is not. I don't think it's sinister, right? Like
That's the thing.
it's also just a portrait. It's not like a shot of her doing gymnastics or some weird shit, right?
It's
Like,
not, but it's still creepy, man. Like I don't like it. It's again right up to the line where you're pretty comfortable in accusing him of being a predator, and then they're like, "Nope, we're not stepping across it."
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Basically, it ends with, and this gets confusing too.
What doesn't?
Well, so they defeat Mr. Sawaki's monster.
Uh-huh.
Ai does. There's a cute moment where alternate universe Ai is like, "You're really strong and cool and stuff," and then Ai's like, "Well, you're me, so you're cool and strong too." And she's like, "Hey, you're right." And then they high five, and it's adorable.
Yep.
So Koito comes back with the shower curtain, which again is such a weird detail
Right.
that it's a shower curtain that your long lost dead person returns in. I was like, what? What? I
I
don't
don't know.
understand
It's
it.
just some. It's just something to reveal that the statue is gone. Right. Like,
Yeah.
interesting enough, Koito just lays on the floor and immediately disappears. Doesn't
That's what I was gonna say. She
get a chance
doesn't.
to say anything. Doesn't run towards either of them.
Nope. Nope. I mean, she turns. I was like, Koito-chan, and
She
she
looks.
turns and she smiles at him, and then she's gone.
she Thanos snapped. Right.
Yeah, totally Thanos snapped.
Yeah.
Which I was expecting. I don't think she was expecting. Logically, she wasn't expecting any closure here that way.
Right. I think she
She
knew
didn't
what to
expect
expect.
any conversation, but it would have been nice. Like she says, I think she says after that, it would have been nice to hear from Koito what happened, right?
No, she says like she's glad I didn't like I never found out the truth from Koito, and I think
Oh,
I think I'm glad.
right.
And she has that
That
conversation where Other Eye says like even though she was a fake friend, I am so confused by that line. Right?
Me
Like
too. Other Eyes like, oh, you miss her even if she was a fake friend, and I was like, yeah, fine, I wasn't alone. I was like, wait, what? What is this? What is this possibility that Koito was a bad friend? What is going on?
I have no idea.
I don't either. They-
13th episode needs to nail it.
I mean, okay, in their interactions, it always felt like Koito was a little bit condescending with Ai.
You reckon?
I do. Like when I was supposed to catch the bullying that Koito was experiencing in that empty classroom,
Yeah.
and I totally screws it up because she was too afraid. Like Koito's like, you didn't do it, did you? Oh, that's okay. Like, I know you were afraid. And there's a line between compassionate and condescending, right? That's another thing. They're right next to each other. And every interaction they have, it just feels like Koito is a little bit above I. And that makes me wonder if maybe the fake friend label is legit.
Like maybe she used her as an in to Sawaki. She was like, I need to befriend this person, find out what her deal is with Sawaki, and then go for my move.
Ooh. Okay, that'd be brutal. And maybe that's what I is afraid of finding out,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe she suspects that's what happened, and she's like, I'd rather not have that confirmed, thank you.
Ignorance is bliss.
I can totally understand that if that's what she decided. Wow, that's good. That's really good. Okay, so then who shows up? Is it Hyphen or Dot?
Neither.
There's another one?
Yeah, I don't think that was Hyphen or Dot. She gives a name, but I don't remember what it was.
Because it was long and stupid.
Yeah.
Remember? I is like, yeah, sure. Jane, long name. Like she doesn't even try.
Yeah.
That's right. It's another, like Frill has apparently a lot of hench peoples.
Apparently, like making people is easy. So.
Right. Apparently.
Yep.
For all we know. Okay. So then Dragonfly Head Girl shows up. And I immediately dismisses Leon because she's like, "You're not killing my Pokemon. I know what happens next."
Yeah.
But is it? Okay.
Which eye loses an eye.
Yeah.
That's
So here the
gotta pay
confusing
attention to
at
the
some
headband. Like the hair clip is the distinguishing feature.
yes, because initially alternate universe I is wearing a school uniform. And our Eye is wearing her yellow hoodie. But then they were wearing the same clothes at some point for no reason. Midway through the episode, they don't explain it at all.
I think that like part of Sawaki's like his drop in the water is he like plays tricks on Ai's mind, and because it's a dream world, the tricks are like literally real.
Visually happening.
Yeah. So she wakes up basically in her timeline where Koito saves her from the pool, and she's in a school uniform. But
Right.
the
That's
hair
right.
clip is how you're supposed to tell them apart.
Well, and for a minute there, their heterochromia is on different eyes. It's swapped.
Also true.
And then it's not swapped.
And then one of them
And
loses
there's
an eye.
mirrors involved. Yeah, and then one of them loses an eye because Dragonfly Girl like boomerangs her eye off, which is that's some fancy boomeranging, I gotta say.
That is some fancy boomeranging.
Yeah, like somehow gouging someone's eye out with a boomerang from 20 feet away. Like I don't even think Crocodile Dundee could pull that off. Maybe
Um,
he could,
I mean, you could definitely like poke someone in the eye with a boomerang, and that would like
but
crush it.
return
Return the
it?
boomerang? No,
No, it
dream magic.
returns the
No,
eyeball.
yeah, yeah,
That's amazing.
that's some dream magic.
Okay.
Dream magic.
Right. So that happens, and we're like, oh no, I. But then,
Hmm.
like, it's alternate universe I?
Alternate universe, I pushed her out of the way,
Yeah.
which is weird because Rika-chan and Momo-chan, both of their final eggs disappeared before the shower curtain dropped. So why
Yes.
is Other Eye getting to stick around for so long?
Why is I helping an alternate universe version of herself? Like,
Right.
there are too many questions. It's all connected somehow, I'm
Well, I
sure.
mean, the idea that like they have that moment where they high five and like if I'm strong, you're strong, that newfound
Hmm.
confidence. There's a reason why Other Eye would protect our eye, but unfortunately
Yeah,
lost her eye. Boy, that's confusing.
it
Uh,
is.
I could Japanese word for eye is me, meh, me, meh, meh,
Hmm.
meh, me, Seneca. That's how I learned it. But that doesn't make it any easier. Yeah,
Nope.
it's like it's why like why she's doing it is not hard to work out, but it's why she's still there. That's interesting.
Yes, totally.
Because we're also juxtaposing that with images of an eye waking up in like the shower. Like,
Yeah. Like, huddled on the floor.
which one was that? Was that our eye or alternate eye?
And then we have another eye waking up in her bed,
Mm-hmm.
clutching at her eye and being like, oh, it's still there, thank goodness. It's like, what's that? I don't. I hate the confusion so much. Like, it's all really well done, and I care about what's happening, but I do not understand what's happening.
Yeah. Whew.
So, I mean, they're doing a Rashomon thing with Mr. Sawaki.
Rashomon.
Rashomon. It's a famous play where an incident is recounted by three separate people, and they all have different interpretations of what happened.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And they all honestly believe that what they saw happened, even though all of them are wrong and right at the same time.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it feels like that's what they're doing with Mr. Sawaki, where it's a Rashomon, where it's up to interpretation. You decide what's going on here. I'm not sure they're ever going to give it to us what actually happened, which bothers me, but I understand what they're going for.
Yeah, I think at like the closest you can like nail that down is like I as in me or you associate our perspective of the show with a certain character, therefore we have to agree that character's perspective is the correct one if they don't
Right.
definitively tell us.
Yeah.
Like that's the easiest way to resolve it, I think. But
I do hope they give us at least what Mr. Sawaki told I at the art showing.
that would be nice.
Because
Very
again, I think you're right. I think the eye that we see tell her mom she approves is post that meeting with Mr. Sawaki. So whatever he said completely convinced her that he's on the up and up. So but I don't know, would it help if we saw what he said? Because we want to believe I is a good judge of character, right? So maybe not. Maybe it doesn't matter.
We also didn't learn anything more about the daughter of Akka and Uraka, like the natural daughter, the one who killed herself.
Right. She's referred to at the end.
Yeah, she's referred to, but we
Right.
don't know if Frill,
Frill.
like took her over or not.
Took her. Oh, right.
All right.
Ugh, that's a good thing they did not touch on at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's I talked about this last week. Akka and Oraka are way too close to this, right? It's one of them says at the end, "You don't even care like about Frill at all, do you?" And he's like, "Not really. It's like I really only care about my daughter." It's like, okay, yeah. See, that's the problem right now. Like, you have way too many feelings about this. You should not be running this project.
Right. Well, one, who else is gonna do it? Two,
Yeah,
they're
fair.
like they're in a point of like nonsense, made upical stuff that if they tried to bring anyone else in, I don't think anyone would believe them, right? 3, one of them torched Frill, right? Like, she burned. Caring about her, like, it would lead to what?
Okay, not caring about her well-being, but defeating her and stopping her. I felt that was the interpretation of what Akka was saying. You don't care about stopping her, you just care about finding your daughter. And he's like, yeah,
Well,
so what? It's like, well, the kind of what we're doing here, right?
I don't think it's about. I need to rewatch that scene, I guess. Because I don't think it's about like trying to find his daughter. His daughter's dead. Right? Like, there's no fixing that. I think it's like a revenge play, and then, if anything,
He feels like he can bring her back or put her to rest or something, though.
sure.
I don't. Maybe it is just revenge. Maybe that's all it is.
How Frill ties into Thanatos
Entirely unknown.
and Warriors of Errors.
Well, and that's one thing we skipped was I vocally and very energetically declaring that she wants to be a warrior of Eros and defeat Thanatos.
Yeah.
Does she know what that means? I don't think she knows what that means.
I think she wants to be an Avenger, is what that means.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, I have no idea if she knows exactly what that means. She definitely doesn't know what it entails, because nobody knows what it entails. Just that
Nope.
Akka and Uraka need soldiers.
Well, there's another great scene too where Rika's desperately trying to get back into the dream world to get revenge for Pokemon. And Akka's like, look, man, she's burning up with rage. If we send her over there, Frill's going to take her. And Uraka's like, maybe. We don't know that. They're so detached.
I mean,
At
their
least the
brains
one
and
is.
mannequins. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. They still have emotions, though. Like, if we're looking for revenge, that's not a logical thing, really.
It's true. It's true.
Anywho.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, good. And yeah, at some point, we'll get the end of the story, but not probably till June.
Probably not. God,
Yeah.
what if, like, in between now and that episode coming out, they, like, agree for a second season, and that 13th episode still is just, like, cliffhangers. Tune out next year. Or tune in next year for the real ending in season 2.
Oh, man. I'm be upset. Finish your story.
Yeah.
Ugh. Amazing.
That's a thing. That's a possibility.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. Anywho's, that was Wonder Egg. A lot of stuff happened.
And that was Wonder Egg.
Yep. Other news, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Did you watch that one?
Is there a new episode out yet?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen the new episode. Oh no, I've seen episode 2. Episode 3 should be out soon.
Sorry. Yes, episode 2 came out. That was it.
Yeah,
You're caught up if you've seen episode 2.
I've seen episode 2, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, I just thought they did a really good job. So we have this guy replacing Captain America. They understand that we're probably not going to like him just because everybody's so attached to Steve Rogers.
I don't
And
think
Steve
like,
wants...
I
Well,
think that-
go ahead.
I think they actively lead into that. He's a character designed not to be liked. Like, off the inset for no logical reason. Purely because we like Chris Evans as Captain America and nobody else.
Yeah. But then they do some work early to be like, all right, this guy, he's got a loving relationship with his wife, and he says all the right stuff about not in it for, glory or anything. He just wants to do the right thing, and he's got big shoes to fill from Cap, and he respects Steve Rogers, right? He said a lot of right stuff.
That is how they lean into it. Like, they're
Right.
making it very clear that there is no reason at the moment to dislike this person. Or
Until at the end he snaps and basically says, like, Falcon and Bucky are like, we don't want to work with you. We kind of hate your guts. And he goes, well, if you're not with me, you're against me, and like storms out.
Well, he
so
says,
that's the
"Don't-"
moment
he's-
where you're like, okay,
he says, "Don't get in my way." There's a technically different statements, right?
that's true. Technically
Yeah.
accurate. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we still don't have a strict reason to hate him. All we know is that Bucky and the Falcon also don't like him, and as a result, they're not willing to cooperate. And he doesn't. He's like, okay, if you're not cooperating with me, I won't cooperate with you. That's what that statement is to me.
Yes. Right.
Um,
Agreed.
He's probably angry, feeling like left out of the Avengers Club, like the last of the Avengers that are around anymore. And they're like disregarding him entirely off the premise because essentially no reason, right? Like he's probably a bit angry, especially after he just like bailed them out of prison, or at least one of them.
Got him out of jail. Yeah. Yeah. So my big thing about the new Cap is it's entirely unfair for the United States government to put somebody in the Captain America suit and have him fight in today's world of supervillains without giving him any superpowers. Like, what did they think was going to happen the first time he came against someone who was superpowered? He's going to get his ass kicked.
I don't. I mean, it's
he doesn't. He does not have superpowers.
Well, they say that they tested him and he scored off the charts in every aspect, right? Like that's as close to abnormally superhuman as anyone who is superhuman. Like
he displayed no sign of superhuman powers in that fight on the trucks. None.
He has an equal command of the shield as Captain America did. He knew exactly how to throw it and get it back, and when it was he threw it hanging off the back of the truck so it landed under his body. Right, like that is.
You think that counts as super?
I don't think it makes him super, but I think it makes him capable, right? Like he
so
is.
What % of Cap of Steve Rogers do you think he is?
Oh, I don't know, 1%, right? Like the shield doesn't make the man, but he has a mastery of the shield. Like he's had time with his practice. He's not utterly useless. He's not throwing you or me in that situation. Right?
I think he's utterly useless in a super-powered fight. I think he is. I think Cap is borderline useless in a super-powered fight, to be entirely honest with you. And if this dude doesn't even have the serum going for him, he's going to die out there. Like, that's the thing. They're setting this up to where there's somebody handing out super strength and stuff, and new Cap's going to be like, I really need this, right? I need this to compete in today's world. And then he's going to take it, and he's going to go bad, yada, yada, yada. That's what's going to happen. But it bothers me that the U.S. government is like, we need this guy to be the next Captain America. We can't give you these superpowers that Captain America had. Go do good things. What? What is wrong with you people? You suck at this. That's all I'm saying.
Well, here's the thing. They haven't explicitly stated that they haven't tried to, right?
Okay, maybe they tried. But once it's failed and you're still like, this guy is a regular person who's real good at stuff.
Well, okay. Well, they're like, oh, we tested him and he scored off the charts. What if he is a super soldier, right? Maybe not as good as Cap. Like, it didn't have as good an effect, right? But he's still way better than the average person. And that was them trying to hide it, be like, no, this is a man of the people. He's American. He's as red-blooded as everyone else. He loves apple pie and not voting because it's not mandatory.
They didn't hide it with Steve Rogers, did they?
They
were pretty open about the fact that this whole Weapon X program or Super Serum program happened, and he was the successful result. Like, I remember the propaganda during World War II talked about that with him. They weren't like, this is just a guy we found in Brooklyn somewhere. He's really big and strong for some reason.
So I think the difference maybe in the first Captain America movie is at the time they didn't reveal what he was, right? Like they had him as like a performing monkey or it was like that or being in a lab. They clearly, if the higher ranked guy who worked in marketing for the US military didn't like commandeer Steve, he would have just been in a lab, probably secreted away. So it's questionable of whether or not they did intend to reveal what he was. But I'm just saying, eventually it got out and people loved Cap anyway. For them to be like, we need to hide second Captain America's true abilities and where he got them from or else people won't like him is just like, why? It didn't do anything to Steve Rogers' reputation. I still don't know how many people know the truth about the experiments that were on him, right? Like, they threw the other super soldier in prison and he's pretty not keen to talk about it, right? It sounds like something not a lot of people ask him about. That was racism. Right. I mean, the show really wanted us to understand that was racism. Right.
right? Steve Rogers is a world hero, and this dude gets locked away and experimented on, and everything sucks, right?
Right, but we don't know if the general public is aware that a super soldier serum existed.
We need a Marvel geek. Hang on a second.
You have one.
Uh, I feel like there were, like, remember when they have him out parading around during World War II doing public events and kissing babies and stuff?
Right, he was a performer, like a really
I
buff
s-
performer and movie actor. I don't think they were like,
Yeah.
we magically made this person. Right?
Okay.
I think he was like he was at that time the marketing major or whatever like colonel was like he is the physical embodiment of what we want to present to the enemies. Like if we put him in stages and stage plays and movies, they're going to see that this is what Americans are represented by. This 6.5 foot tall Adonis of a man, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think that means they were like, yeah, and we did it through sciencey magic. Because you don't want to publicize the fact that you have sciencey magic. Oh wait, you don't have it anymore, right? Like, hey, look, we made this one guy. Boy, we would sure rather you believe that this is what the average American fighter is looking like.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, especially because they didn't have any more.
Right.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. I don't know. I still feel like he doesn't have any super serum stuff going on for him, and I feel like it's incredibly irresponsible for the government to throw him out there.
Here's the thing: Falcon has no super serum stuff going
I
for him.
think it's entirely irresponsible to throw Falcon out there too.
Right, but he gets
I do.
by. It's clearly not necessary for what they're going after.
He
Like,
sort of gets by. He gets his ass kicked on the truck thing too.
Sure,
They
but
all
he
do. Like
but he
all
doesn't-
four of our people. Winter Soldier gets his butt kicked for some reason out on the truck top, which makes no sense.
Yeah, well, he's not
Well,
super enhanced anyway. He has a metal arm. That's his thing.
Well, he went toe to toe with a man who was super serum enhanced a lot in Winter Soldier. So
Yeah.
how's that make any sense?
He was mind conditioned at the time, and now he's in a broken mental state, and he's not fighting as well. Done.
His therapy took away his super fighting abilities.
Well, no, not necessarily that his therapy specifically did it, but now that he is without the only person who believed could still be a good guy, right? And that is being threatened by that guy trusted, right? Like Falcon giving away the shield has a profound effect on him. You can't disregard that to his mental state.
Yeah, his mental state being different, therefore he can't fight nearly as well as he could like 4 years ago in MCU time is kind of bugging me.
Well, okay, how about this? When he was fighting Captain America, he was just fighting Captain America. He wasn't fighting four of them on the top of
fair.
a moving truck.
Yeah. I just wanted him to show better, that's all. I didn't want him to win, but like I just feel like he didn't do all that much. Like it was mostly staying alive for Bucky. Like he almost got run over.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yada yada. So then we have the Bucky knows about the Black Captain America who's been hidden and completely defrauded by, the American government for all these years and didn't tell Falcon, and Cap knew and didn't tell Falcon, and Falcon's like, what the crap, guys?
Captain America didn't know. Falcon
Didn't they
asks
say-
him. Falcon goes, "Did you tell Cap?" And he goes, "No." Like,
I
how is
missed
it
that.
you watch a show and completely disregard everything that they say in it? It's amazing.
I mean, it's a problem, to be fair. Okay, yeah. So basically, Bucky knows about this.
He
I guess
fought
they
him.
fought,
Yeah,
so
he
that would
fought.
explain everything. Yeah,
How he knows where he is now is an interesting development.
that is an interesting development. So here's my question: it's like, hey, this Captain America was black and fought for America and did great stuff and fought the Winter Soldier even, and then we put him in prison and experimented on him and his life sucked. I wonder what we do with Steve Rogers if he just comes back home from World War II after it's over. Like, I wonder if the government's not like, we need to experiment on you because you're the only person, like the only super that we have. We need to figure out how to make more of this stuff. Like, sit in our lab for the next 20 years, right?
Right. Well, I mean, they clearly wanted to do that anyway with him. Like, that was their plan for him. It's like, we need to try and recreate the serum. The only clue we have is in your blood. And they were taking like vials and vials of his blood.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So
and
they're
then when they
clearly going
can't
to do
figure it
that.
out, they're like, well, maybe we need some of your tendons. Take some of those. Snip, snip.
I mean, maybe, but like, if the point of the show is saying that they threw him in prison and then forcibly took those things from this guy purely because they black, then we have to assume that canonically they would not have done it to Captain America had he been white, right?
Right. And that's what they're
Like,
setting up in the
that,
show, for sure.
like that is what they're saying, like point blank, that
Yeah.
this would not have happened to Steve because he's white.
Right. And that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
An interesting moment I thought was he goes, basically tells Bucky, you think you can wake up one day and decide to be something you're not. Like, that's not something that,
You can do. Well, maybe you people can.
you people can. And like Bucky brings it up later with Falcon, and Falcon's like, I don't think he meant that you're a white dude. And Bucky's like, no, I think and he's like a Hydra, like a member of Hydra. And he's like, oh, and I was like, oh, that's a good subversion. I'm going to flip that around.
Well, I mean, Falcon evidently did think that. It's not that he didn't think that. He was like, let it go, man. Like,
Yeah, no, Falcon did. But
Yeah.
Bucky had a different spin on it, right?
yeah, he absolutely had a different spin on it.
Yeah. So now we're going to go see Zemo. I think that's his name from
That is,
the
yep.
Civil War movie. Entirely forgotten hero, bad guy, I feel like. I don't remember what he looks like.
He looks like a white dude.
Yeah, he's really nondescript, I think, is the problem.
Yeah.
Eastern European white man, kind of like, 5'9", 5'10", particularly tall or short. Yeah,
Probably.
so he's alive.
Yeah.
We established, we kept him alive after Civil War. Smart job there. Need
Yep.
some villains later on in the MCU. So we'll be in the next episode.
I think it's a funny turn of phrase. Like, I think it's entirely intentional. But Falcon is like, oh man, don't listen to that guy when he says, like, maybe you people do just wake up. Because he's like, oh, don't listen to that guy. He's just being, like, a racist old coot, whatever.
Probably for good reason, but yeah.
Yeah. Like, he's like, I just let it go. But Falcon says to Bucky, is like, oh, you came out of Wakanda as the White Panther? Like, he basically makes the same retort that, like, the thing that he is like this other thing, but only white. And then Falcon is being called the Black Falcon by the kid. And he's like, no, that's not how it works. But that's precisely what Falcon already did himself to Bucky.
Yeah. There's directional
There's
labeling
layers.
going on here. Yeah.
Layers of metaphor.
Absolutely. It's like, what? We call you Black Kid? The kid's like, oh, I got by the Falcon. Oh, Baltimore.
Yeah.
Anyway, and the whole thing with the cops, like, hey, there's a white man and a black man arguing in the middle of the street in Baltimore. We just happen to be wandering past. We just drive through Baltimore all the time looking for stuff like this. This is what we're concerned about in this part of the world. It was like, I know it happens, but again, I don't know how you can be part of the Avengers and be so unrecognizable. I guess it's just racism, maybe, right? The cop's just like, all black people look the same to me.
Right, like he literally says, I didn't recognize you without the goggles. Right, like even the bank manager, he had to be like, picture me with wings. This is what I look like with wings. And he's like, yes, now I recognize you. Right?
Yeah. Yep. Good times.
Yeah. I did think it was funny that it was like, is this man bothering you? And he's like, no. And then Bucky's like, do you know who this is? And then it's like, oh, Mr. Barnes, we have to arrest you. It's like, racist cops had to pull away the white guy.
Right. And they're like apologetic about it. Just like, come on. Like, don't be embarrassing. Yeah. What I hope is that we go somewhere with a little, hey, racism exists messaging that exists in this show instead of just being like, hey, every once in a while, remember racism exists? Now we're going to move on from it. Like, but what do we do? Like, where do we go with it? How do we make it story relevant is my question.
Well, that's intent from the creators. Is it like, is they intended to be a plot thread that gets followed? Or do they just intend to raise awareness and be like, hey, we need more people who watch this. We want to use our target audience and our large audience to be like, we want you to think about this more.
Racism is bad, watchers of our TV show.
It's not that racism is bad. Like, people know racism is bad. It's that racism is still a thing that we need you to think about. Those are two very different points. right?
True. That's fair. Racism still exists. A different message from racism is bad, for sure.
Yeah.
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 Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. We should wrap this thing up, unless there's anything else we need to cover.
I don't think there's anything else we need to cover. I think we're good.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's going to be it for another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour with Somicron. Be sure to check out the Patreon at patreon.com/Somicron.
Yep. That's accurate.
That's what it is. Also,
Nailed
join the Discord server if you're into it. Just search Falcon Paladin and Discord. You'll get there right away, I'm sure. And yeah, I think that's it. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. And until next time, we're here on twitch.tv/Somicron live, usually at 9 p.m. Eastern, but not this time. And we apologize. We're back to the better schedule next week. All right.
It's true.
Until then, stay safe and stay
Bye.
healthy. Goodbye.